Breaking news. After his talks with Zelensky today, Erdogan may arrange to meet with Putin. After meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky on Friday, a Haber speculated that Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan would meet with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin on Saturday. The TV report states that the meeting will take place in person, but it is unclear whether or not it will be in Turkey. The Turkish newspaper Hürriyet reported earlier on Friday that in today's meeting, Erdogan will offer Zelensky his services as a mediator in an effort to broker peace between Moscow and Kiev. Russian and Ukrainian POWs will be swapped as part of the agenda. The extension of the grain deal, which is set to expire on July 17, will also be discussed by the two leaders. Turkey is the only country holding talks with both Russia and Ukraine while taking concrete steps to address pressing issues, a fact that Turkey's leader has stressed at nearly every international meeting. The leaders of Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia have urged the North Atlantic Treaty Organization to beef up its defenses in the face of threats emanating from Belarus, such as the possible transfer of the Wagner Group of Russian mercenaries to that country and the deployment of Russia's tactical nuclear weapons there. According to the Polish state news agency PAP, the appeal was made in a special joint letter issued on Friday by Polish President Andrzej Duda, Lithuanian President Gitana Nausėda, and Latvian President Egils Levits. Officials have confirmed that the document was intended for Secretary-General of NATO Jens Stoltenberg and the alliance's heads of state and government. The annual NATO summit will begin in Vilnius, Lithuania on July 11, according to the PAP news agency, so this comes just in the nick of time. They wrote that cooperation between Russia and Belarus has deteriorated the security of our region and that of the entire Euro-Atlantic area. Specifically, they mentioned that Belarusian territory and its resources have been used by Russia in its illegal and brutal war of aggression against Ukraine. Russia has sent nuclear missiles to Belarus. According to Duda, Nausėda, and Levits, tactical nuclear weapons have recently been deployed on the territory of Belarus, as a result of the ever closer military integration between Russia and Belarus. It presents an escalatory move in the context of the war in Ukraine and a direct threat to the security of our community, the three presidents said. Another clear indication that the NATO-Russia Founding Act of 1997 has long since lost its legal force. According to reports from the PAP news agency, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced in June that Russian tactical nuclear warheads would be deployed in Belarus by July 7 to 8. Wagner Group, a Russian mercenary organization, may be on their way to Belarus. Warlord Yevgeny Prigozhin and his Wagner Group of Russian mercenaries have been threatened with relocation to Belarus, which Duda, Nausėda, and Levits have all warned against. A deal between the Kremlin and Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko reportedly allowed Prigozhin to relocate to Belarus after leading Wagner's failed revolt against Russia's military command on June 24. Reuters also reported at the time that Putin had offered Wagner's troops the option of relocating to Belarus. In a joint letter sent out on Friday, the presidents of Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia expressed concern that Prigozhin's presence in Belarus, along with his Wagner fighters, could lead to risks for political stability in Belarus and, consequently, a potential loss of control over conventional and nuclear weapons in Belarus. The Belarusian regime's hybrid operation designed to provoke a humanitarian crisis on the borders of Belarus, Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia has been going on for 2 years, and this letter warns that it risks further fueling the migrant crisis on the border with the EU. Ahead of the upcoming Vilnius summit, Duda, Nausėda, and Levits called for NATO to show solidarity and unity to counter all threats, including those brought about by recent developments in Belarus. To that, they added, "We must show Russia that we see and understand them and that we are ready to use all possible means to counter them." The leaders of Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia have urged NATO to increase defense spending and strengthen its eastern flank. A review of nuclear deterrence and its adaptation to new realities. The inclusion of conventional threats emanating from Belarus in the military adaptation. The filling of army preposition stocks on the eastern flank, raising defense spending beyond 2% of GDP and aligning it with NATO priorities, and increasing Allied resilience against hybrid threats are the 5 measures proposed by the presidents of Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia. They said, the actions that we propose will not only improve Allied security, but will also correspond with the democratic aspirations of the Belarusian nation. This was a joint statement from Duda, Nausta, and Levits. On February 24, 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine and began the largest military campaign in Europe since World War II. Russia has been at war with Ukraine for 499 days as of today,